Hey guys, and welcome back to the part 2 of my trip to Tanzania. Thank you so very much for coming back, and if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Turn on that post notification button so that each time I upload a brand new video, you're the first to know. So, without further ado, let's get right into our video. After 10 hours of driving, we finally got to Tunduma, which is a border town on the Tanzanian side. We are very close to Zambia now, and I was so excited. I was like, okay, we are going to Zambia, my home. For the first time since I went to Tanzania, I got face to face with the guy that was holding papers to my car. The guy that I had been speaking with over the phone, the guy that I had reported to the police station. We introduced each other. We were very nice to each other. I actually thought that he was nice. He was well dressed, smartly dressed, and I was like, okay, finally, I've met someone that looks straight, someone that looks civilized. And so I thought that we're just gonna be there for an hour and everything will be done, and then we'll be on our way to Zambia. Boy, was I wrong. He was the most crooked of them all. He handed me a bill. What he said was my bill of $1,000 US dollars. That was a lot of money. I started asking him why so much, because it just sounded so absurd. Then he itemized things that they did, like they went to Dar es Salaam, they picked up the car and blah blah blah, then this and that and that. Most of what he said, I paid for. So why then was he charging me that amount of money? At first, I honestly thought it was just a bad job, because at first we were civil to each other, and we talked peacefully and things like that. But then when I told him, like, are you kidding me? That's when he said, no, I'm not kidding you. This is your bill. This is what you need to pay. I started getting upset because this was so absurd. And he became defensive. That's when we started exchanging the words back and forth. At some point I said, this is not gonna work. Let's just go to explain to somebody that's neutral. I suggested that we go to the officer at the border. At first, he was resistant, and after, because there were a lot of people watching us, exchanging words. So there's people that were just there to watch. That's when they said that was a good idea, that was a good suggestion. Go to the border post and see if you can get someone that can mediate this. We got to the border post and I let him speak first. He went and told the side of his story. Of course, they were talking, yakking away in Swahili, which I did not understand. I could not understand a word from what he was explaining to the officer. For all I know, he was lying. But anyways, at this point, I didn't think that even mattered. I had faith in the truth, that the truth is going to prevail. And it was my turn to give my side of things. I went ahead and explained my story, and after, my story made sense. It was so real. Officers at the border believed my story, and they told him to give me the papers. When we got outside the office, I'm not going to give you the papers until you pay that $1,000. Guys, at this point, the situation was looking so bleak. I fought my tears so hard. I fought back my tears because I just felt like breaking down and just cried off and everything. Like I was afraid. I didn't know what was going to happen. I felt so helpless because he didn't listen to the people that actually I thought were going to help. So we went back to where the car was, and the debate continued. And of course, the people gathered again to watch. At that point, I suggested that, since at the border it didn't help, so let's go to the police station. Because I still had the number of the guy that actually knew the background of my story. Because I had engaged someone, some police officers back in Jerusalem. So I thought that would help, because these people that were witnesses, that had evidence, the whole thing. And so, but again, he didn't want to go to the police station. He refused. And he told me something that scared me. He said, even if you go to the police station, it's not gonna help, because those are my friends, and I bribe them, I give them money all the time. They're not gonna help you. They will not do anything about it. Now, remember I mentioned that we had visited Tanzania as a family with my husband, and we took a road trip. That didn't go well. That is the more reason my husband refused to go with me to Tanzania this time. And one of the things that we experienced then, the corrupt police officers, every mile they stopped us and they were fault finding, and they wanted a bribe from us and everything. So for a moment I believed the story of this guy. Actually his name was Edwin. Yeah, because we introduced each other. Yeah, where I started the story, right? Yeah, we introduced each other. He knew my name, so his name was Edwin. So Edwin had told me that it's not gonna help when we get to the police station, because the police officers were his friends. He bribed them all the time, and I believed his story because I know. At this point, I know maybe there's some that are okay, but most of the cops in Tanzania are corrupt. I started off to go to the police station, and believe it or not, he started trailing me. He was walking a few feet behind me. And as soon, like we were getting closer to the police station, that's when he overtook me, got into the office first. He presented his side of the story, and when I got there, then they gave me a chance to present my side of the story. I went ahead and presented it, and again, because I was telling the real story, the truth, they believed me over his story. And at this point, the police officer said, my judgment is that, okay, he is asking you to pay $1,000, but meet him halfway. So $500. I really wanted to go home. I really wanted to get out of there because I was so exhausted. I agreed to that $500. Although that $500, none of what is said would justify the $500, but I was like, okay, we all know that he wants to steal from me, but at least this is a smaller amount. I'll let him steal. I know he's stealing, but I'll let him steal. So I agreed to that $500. So I paid him. He handed the papers to me, and we were on the way to Zambia. We crossed over the Tanzanian border. Now we got to the Zambian border. This is where we actually had another hurdle. Before, you could just do the paperwork, and then at your final destination, that's where you pay the excise duty, the taxes and everything. But things had changed at this time because there was so many people that, that would game the system, like they get to their final destination, the car is already in the country, and then they would just go the way of the dinosaur. They would disappear. Therefore, they scrapped this system. No more. You have to pay for whatever you bring in the country right at the border of entry. My bank didn't have a branch in Nakonde. I jumped on a bus, and I traveled 10 hours from Nakonde to Lusaka. I went and paid everything at the bank, took care of everything at the bank, and then the next day I was on my way, another 10 hours bus ride to Nakonde. So I got to Nakonde. I presented my papers, the receipts that I had gotten, when I paid my taxes and everything, and yeah, everything was cleared, and now I was on my way to Lusaka. Gosh, was I relieved. I was so relieved. Now I'm in a familiar territory, and I felt like a bird. So we got home, and the family was happy to see the new car. My husband was loving the car, and the rest is history. Yeah. Hopefully this video was informative. Hopefully you've learned one or two things out of this video. If you enjoyed, and if you want me to do any video, please suggest in the comment section, and I will do that video. All right? So the lesson from this video that I was trying to tell you is that don't go with these so-called freelancer agents. They are not good. Yeah, you know, I don't want to generalize. There's some that are okay, but if you feel like you want to take it, I'm not telling you what to do, but if you feel like you want to take a chance, you can go ahead, and please be sure to be ready to live with the consequences, because they steal, they crook, they scam, and all that. I would rather, next time I order anything from anywhere, I would rather go with an established agent, because they do have a degree of responsibility, they do have a degree of accountability and everything. But just these freelancers, I actually thought I was supporting someone that didn't have a job, but they created their employment, but then they proved to be no good. Therefore, my advice to you, my friends, is that please go with an established agent. Just the freelancer ones, they're no good. 1 minute they are there, the next minute they are gone with your money and your papers, and they set you up such that you are held hostage. I was held hostage. They held my car hostage. In order for them to give me back the papers, they wanted me to pay that $1,000. Not because they did anything, but they just wanted to pay the ransom for the car. Okay, it was headache. It was a bad situation. I honestly wouldn't wish that kind of event, situation to happen, even on my worst enemy, because the situation was so tense. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching my video. Alright, this has been your girl Frida Tate. We'll see you in my next video. Bye now.
When you feel it's hopeless, when you